The month of December rarely conjures images of devastating tornadoes, yet the year 2021 shattered that expectation in the most catastrophic way imaginable. What unfolded across the American heartland during a single December night would rewrite meteorological history books and forever alter the landscape of the central United States. This is the story of how unseasonably warm conditions, atmospheric instability, and meteorological chaos combined to produce what many consider the most remarkable December tornado outbreak ever recorded, featuring a single tornado that would travel farther than any other in Kentucky's history, while leaving unprecedented destruction in its wake. Most Americans understand that tornado season peaks during spring, particularly from March through May, when atmospheric conditions align perfectly for severe weather. However, what many don't realize is that tornadoes continue occurring well beyond these traditional months, extending into fall and even winter. December typically sees around 24 tornadoes scattered across the nation, a modest number that pales in comparison to spring's fury, yet these winter twisters are far from non-existent. The misconception that December produces 0 tornadoes makes what happened in December 2021 all the more shocking and historically significant. The statistics from December 2021 read like something from a catastrophic spring outbreak rather than a winter month. The total tornado count didn't just break previous December records, it obliterated them, producing more than twice the number of tornadoes seen during the previous record-holding December back in 2002. Two particular dates stand out as responsible for this extraordinary month: December 10th and December 15th. While the 15th deserves mention for its own remarkable weather events, the 10th stands as perhaps the most devastating December tornado day in American meteorological records, producing both the longest-tracked tornado and some of the most powerful wind speeds documented during any winter outbreak. Meteorologists first detected troubling signals approximately 7 days before the outbreak, when long-range forecast models began indicating unusual atmospheric patterns. Initially, models suggested December 11th as the target date for potential severe weather, but as the week progressed, computer simulations increasingly pointed toward the evening hours of December 10th instead. 3 days ahead of the event, the Storm Prediction Center recognized enough concern to issue a slight risk designation across portions of the mid-Mississippi Valley, acknowledging the possibility of organized severe weather, including tornadoes. Yet, significant uncertainty remained in the forecast, leaving meteorologists cautiously optimistic that conditions might not materialize as dramatically as feared. Those hopes evaporated as December 10th dawned. Morning data analysis revealed atmospheric conditions so favorable for tornadic development that forecasters upgraded their outlook to a moderate risk, the second highest severe weather category on a 5-level scale. Everything about the developing situation screamed dangerous. Temperatures were climbing into the mid-70s across the warm sector, extraordinarily warm for December when readings typically struggle to reach 50 degrees. Abundant Gulf moisture was streaming northward, providing fuel for explosive thunderstorm development. Perhaps most concerning was the massive low-pressure system positioned to the west, slowly advancing eastward while generating extreme wind shear. The changing wind speeds and directions with height that allow rotating thunderstorms to develop. Meteorologists found themselves analyzing a setup that looked identical to notorious spring outbreaks, not something expected during the heart of winter. December simply doesn't produce these atmospheric ingredients very often, making the unfolding situation all the more ominous. As afternoon transitioned toward evening, isolated thunderstorms began developing sporadically across the warm sector. Around 3 p.m. Central Time, satellite imagery and radar data revealed the first convective cells initiating, including one storm forming southwest of Little Rock, Arkansas. This particular storm began drifting northeastward, seemingly unremarkable among several other developing thunderstorms. As evening approached and atmospheric conditions continued optimizing for severe weather, this Arkansas storm began showing increasingly organized rotation on radar. By 5:50 p.m., the storm's concerning structure prompted the first tornado warning of the evening. Nobody monitoring this storm could have imagined the unprecedented destruction it would unleash over the following hours. As the supercell approached and passed southeast of Jonesboro, Arkansas around 7 p.m., radar imagery revealed rapidly intensifying rotation. The mesocyclone, the rotating updraft at the storm's core, had been persistently spinning for hours, but now it was tightening and consolidating its circulation southwest of Monette, Arkansas. The storm had already spawned. Monette became the initial community to experience the tornado's fury, with numerous structures destroyed and several buildings receiving EF3 damage ratings. Documentation of this tornado's early stages remained limited because most storm chasers had positioned themselves farther northeast near Caruthersville. The tornado relentlessly churned northeastward, demolishing structures along its path. At one rural intersection where state and county highways crossed, 2 homes were completely erased from their foundations, leaving only bare concrete slabs. This extreme damage justified the EF4 classification. Storm chaser Max Olson, stationed outside Caruthersville, captured remarkable video footage as the massive tornado passed nearby, threading between Caruthersville and Hayti before continuing into western Tennessee. After carving an 81-mile path of destruction, this initial tornado finally lifted. Within that devastating track, 9 people lost their lives and 16 others suffered injuries. The supercell showed no signs of weakening as the first tornado dissipated. Instead, it was rapidly cycling, preparing to produce another violent tornado. Several brief, weaker tornadoes touched down as the storm reorganized. By 8:45 p.m., the atmospheric conditions were perfectly aligned for disaster once again. At 8:55 p.m., just west of Woodland Mills, Tennessee, what would become known as the Mayfield tornado began its historic journey, ultimately becoming one of the most infamous tornadoes of the entire decade. The tornado immediately intensified after formation, completely destroying the small community of Case, Kentucky, with EF4 level damage. Next in the path lay Mayfield, Kentucky, a town of nearly 10,000 residents, who could only shelter in place and pray as the tornado bore down on them. Around 9:25 p.m., the tornado struck Mayfield's southwestern sections, completely destroying a candle factory where numerous employees were working the night shift. The tornado then ripped through the entire community with unimaginable violence. Radar imagery from this moment shows extraordinary reflectivity values that weren't precipitation or hail, but debris lofted thousands of feet into the air. A pronounced debris ball signature appeared on radar, a feature only visible during the most catastrophic tornadoes. Within minutes, Mayfield was devastated. But the tornado wasn't finished. It continued eastward, producing the same catastrophic damage across community after community. Benton was erased. Cambridge Shores was obliterated. Princeton became unrecognizable. Dawson Springs was completely destroyed. Bremen looked like a war zone. In Bremen, the tornado produced some of its most extreme damage, with well-constructed homes swept entirely clean from their foundations, debris reduced to small fragments and scattered in windrows. Portions of home foundations were torn from the ground and thrown. Such damage intensity hadn't been witnessed in nearly a decade. The tornado continued its destruction for 166.7 miles, finally dissipating just west of Beaver Dam, Kentucky, nearly 3 hours after it began. The supercell produced a few additional weak tornadoes before finally exhausting itself the following morning. When dawn broke on December 11th, it revealed absolute devastation across multiple states. The destruction defies comprehensive description. Every community along the 166-mile path experienced violent damage. Eyewitness accounts describe a 200-yard wide swath of complete devastation, with apartment complexes leveled, concrete parking structures removed, large industrial buildings reduced to slabs, and virtually every structure in the tornado's core completely swept away, with debris granulated and scattered hundreds of yards away. December 10th ultimately caused $3.9 billion in damage while claiming 89 lives and injuring 672 others. The Mayfield tornado alone killed 58 people. It became Kentucky's longest-tracked tornado in history and one of the strongest, with maximum wind speeds estimated at 190 miles per hour. Per hour based on damage surveys? 5 days later, December 15th produced 120 additional tornadoes across the Midwest in just 8 hours, though these were generally weaker, maxing out at EF2 intensity. In total, December 2021's tornadoes and straight-line winds caused over $5 billion in damage. The Mayfield tornado will likely remain the most historic December tornado for generations while standing as one of the most tragic long-track tornadoes ever recorded. While meteorologists anticipated significant severe weather that day, nobody could have predicted something so catastrophic. Central Kentucky and numerous other impacted areas are forever changed. Recovery continues today, years later. Rebuilding takes time, and while property can be reconstructed, the 89 lives lost on that December night can never be replaced. Their memory serves as a permanent reminder of nature's awesome destructive power and the importance of taking severe weather seriously, regardless of the calendar date.